Oops. Well, hello. All right. I was waiting for the ad to be done so I could see if it's working. Video seems to be working. Let me know about the audio. The Curious Bee. How now, meow meows. Well, hi. Are you new or are you a regular but with a different name? Can hear and see. Yay! Awesome. All right. How are you today? So one thing I want to do today is test the rewettability of the paints that I panned last week. They seem to be quite dry, quite hard. Oh, sorry, let me change account. Oh! Emotional Pumpkin, hi! Moby Dick, hello! Hello, hello! I remember, that's the name of your boat. Right. Let's add 2 drops of water to each of these. Let's wait a little bit. And then have a piece of paper here to swatch them just to see how they did after a week of drying. I also have these. Seems okay. I don't see any kind of weird mold or, you know. Curious, hey! That's what I thought. That's what I thought. This one also seems to be good. Now, I don't know if they're still moist. I don't want to put my finger in there, really, but... That one was extra super soft. It still looks good. Okay, so that's one thing. I'll be able to put these little jars aside. Okay. Sorry. I'm old. I make old people noises. I have hand cream. Let's do just a little bit of that on the back of the hands. I have a really bad, like, split skin crack thingamajig that is in the most unfortunate of places because I keep, like, hitting it and getting it stuck into things, so it just doesn't heal properly. It's just like here. It's a bit, now it's a bit better, but for a really long time I kept like hitting it and then it would like reopen. Sorry about that. I'm struggling with a bit of a headache, so if I disappear without notice, it's because I went to take a nap. Oh no! Oh man, headaches suck. They're so bad. Let's see. So this is the ultramarine pink that doesn't quite look like ultramarine pink, but let's try. Hey, Sketches and Scrubs, hello! Hi! How are you doing today? How is everyone today? I mean, that's quite good, right? Now, it hasn't been dry for a really long time, so that's a factor, but that's fairly decent rewettability, in my opinion. Yeah, I hope it gets better instead of worse as well. Did you take anything for it? And also one thing, I don't know what works for you, but if you haven't tried it, one thing that I found that works well for me is to have a lot of heat on my head when I have a headache. So it's either like a big scarf to warm up the neck and the lower part of the head, or like I put a cozy hoodie on and then I put the big scarf and I make sure that my head is really, really warm, and usually that helps. That also rewets pretty well. That's the ultramarine violet. I think you have had migraines forever and get them very rarely nowadays, but when they show up, yeah, yikes. Good. Yep. Hi, Boo Peep. Hello. Yes. It's last week I took out my tubes of Aquafine paints, and these two pigments, the ultramarine pink and the ultramarine violet, were very separated. I think the tubes are quite old and they've sat in the same position for a really long time. And yeah, so they were separated a bit. So what I did is I poured the whole thing in a separate container, mixed it up, and I kept part of it in the container and I put part of it in pans. Because someone was saying that theirs had dried out really hard and was difficult to re-wet. So that's what I'm kind of testing out, is the how easily or not these re-wet. I'm pretty sure this one, the permanent mauve, will be very easy to re-wet, because this one was very soft. So for this one, that's kind of what I expected, but for the other two, I really didn't know what to expect. So I think that's quite good so far. This one, the permanent mauve, is really, really nice. That's a good dioxazine violet. Okay. Try to keep my pans out of working area. Hi, Susie. Hi, Busy Bee Deep. Busy Bee Beep. Sorry. Ooh. Oh, interesting. I haven't tried that. I heard that actually putting feet into hot water helps some migraine. Migraines are really weird because, like, anything can trigger it and anything can help it. There's like recurring things, like some people will say that caffeine helps them, or caffeine is the thing that triggers their migraine. So you don't really know for sure, but for me, often when I have headaches, sometimes it's tension, so it's like muscular, and in that aspect, heat really help. But sometimes, even when it's more of a migraine or whatnot, just the heat kind of loosens everybody. I think it helps with blood flow. So in that aspect, I think it still helps quite a lot. But sometimes, like you need cold for other kind of issues. Like there are two kind of reaction that are painful. If I remember right, you have inflammation and what's the other one? Tension, basically. So if things are tense and stuck and like all cut up together, you want some heat to help loosen that. And if things are inflamed, then you want some cold to lower the inflammation. Not a nurse, not a doctor, but 23, hello. Lee, oh my gosh, Lee, long time no see. Weird name for permanent mauve. What do you mean? I tried Dilarani's student out simply years ago, and they were so dreadful. I never ventured into the pro range. Well, these are not pro. These are the student range of Watercolor. And to recap, I started last week. I prepared the sheets, and last week I swatched these two. Now, I don't have all of the colors, obviously, as you can tell, but some colors I have in pans, some color I have in tube, some colors I have both. And I wanted to compare because when we were looking at it initially in the first video, as you can see here, the ultramarine pink that is in the pan is closer to the expected color for ultramarine pink. And then in the tube, it looks like if you mixed ultramarine violet and ultramarine pink, and that's what you get in the tube. And then ultramarine violet in the pan kind of looks super smooth, and then in the tube it looks okay. So that got me thinking, and I was like, okay, so is that a common thing with this range? Is there a lot of differences between the pans and the tube? And as these are affordable, like they sell the half pans in sets of 2 for like $4, and then the tubes of 8 milliliter are also $4. So that's another part of it. And lastly, the third thing that really got me curious is that they have quite a few interesting pigments within the range. Now, I was able to grab an older version of their Indian Yellow, which has PY153, discontinued pigment. Their orange cadmium orange hue has PO71, also very interesting. It's one of my favorite oranges, so a bit partial. They have some really nice magentas, and then the ultramarine pink, which is PR259. That's very uncommon for a student range. Same for ultramarine violet. You usually don't get that in student range. And then that's where I'm at. I have these two to paint, but their transparent turquoise is PB16, which is great. And then they have all sorts of other colors too that I'm sort of curious to try out. The raw umber, the raw sienna. I don't know if I have one, but we'll see. So that's basically the premise of the the test I'm currently running. I use ice, but I get atypical migraines. Yeah, that might work too. It really depends on the kind of hurt or pain you get, basically. Yeah, for me, it used to be stress-induced, but now I've mostly got that under control, and recently it's light-induced. Like bouncing off something glossy. Oh, no. I'm back to the world of the living. Hopefully, probably. Hopefully! We're happy to have you back. I think of mauve as being a more dusty rose color than... Oh! Okay, I see. I see. I totally branched out on that because in French, mauve is just like the general family of color that includes purples and violets. So for me, when I see permanent mauve, I don't... It doesn't raise any flag. It's just like, oh, okay. Mauve permanent, the end. You know? But yeah, you're right. I think in English, it's often used as a sort of a dusty, antique kind of color. In here, I have pans. Okay, these have all been swatched. This is empty. So I'm gonna put the stuff on the page for where I'm at. And, yep. No, I don't think you're wrong. I think it's just a, like, it's not something that I will notice if I default to French. But you're right, mauve is kind of this muted sort of purple color. Like a sort of a warmer color, right? Yeah, dusty rose color. Purple. Okay, so that's ultramarine blue, dark. What side of the... Half pans are on the left. Tubes are on the right. One goes here. Just gonna... I set all the colors in their place first, and then I proceed. Yellow, blue. Beautiful transparent turquoise. Green, no, these are not there. I don't think any of these are all like earth colors. I also have the gold, which is really cool. hair pans. Okay. I really like that they print out all the paint pigment info on the pans. Rainbow light. Like, come on, how am I supposed to remember all of this stuff? And writing it, sure, that can be done, but it takes a lot of time too. These are browns, ocean blue, indigo, ultramarine blue dark, gold blue hue, in yellow blue, and transparent turquoise. I don't have any of the greens here at the bottom. One of them is PG7, and I'm fine. I've painted with enough PG7s in my life that I don't really need more of them. And the other one is leaf green, which is a mix of PY3 and PG7, which is again kind of not a color I reach for when I paint. Oh, and palettes. Hold on. Okay, sorry. Apologies. Okay. That is nice. I wonder if it stays on better than when written in Sharpie. Mine always eventually fade, rub off, and have to be redone. I don't know, but I would think that they stay in place a bit better. So this is the indigo pan. Really interesting because when it's dry, or perhaps when it's brand new, the surface of the pan has a red sheen to it. That's a good indigo. Really good one. Oh, do you have any cat updates for us? Neighborhood kitty happenings. This week we saw a kitty that we saw during the summer, but that had been sort of not coming up for a couple of months. Which is something that happens, you know, with the feral cats. Sometimes you have them every day, sometimes they're not there for 3 months, and then they show up. What I would give to be able to know what they do. But in the meantime, yeah. I thought it was on the metal shelves or on the floor. What do you mean, Jill? Hi, by the way. Aside from that, as much as we try to get the kitties inside because it snowed a lot this week, they have their own mind and they know what they want. And if they don't want to stay inside, good luck. Good luck with that. Okay, so that's the pan of Prussian blue. Sorry, ignore that. I tried to text my husband. Oh, hi, Jill. Oops. I feel like this paint moves surprisingly well in water. Like, it's not the big zoom across the page as you would get with other brands of paints, but it doesn't like just stay there either. It's just a, for me, it's just a good level of mobility. That's quite nice. So now the tube one. Tubes are a bit tricky because you never really know how it's gonna come out of there. Like I said, these have probably sat on shelves for a really long time, and even the colors that don't separate, ugh, they kind of have a lot of binder coming up. Not a fart, just a paper towel. Again. We'll just close it up and I will try to very gently massage. Just a little bit, see if I can help. Well, I did that last week with the... in fact, that's why the permanent mauve ended up in a jar. Is because I tried to massage it and realized that there was a really teeny tiny needle hole in the tube. My whole fingers were purple. Of course. Because it's not gonna happen with like Naples yellow or a similarly low tinting strength color. It's gonna happen with the most staining colors. You can't fool us. I know it was a farm. Wasn't. Otto! Hello! Yay! Nice to see you, Otto. Nice to see you. You're just in time to be able to see just how pretty the indigo is. That's Prussian blue. That's rose. That paper towel rip sounded like the whip sound. Back. Oh, maybe. There are two colors that are forever linked to Otto. Bright pink and indigo. I don't know if we all get the ads in the same time. Best colors in the world. Okay, so guys, who else got an ad just now? Easy cheat. Hold on. Dang it. Okay, next that's ultramarine blue light. You don't. I watch on two devices at once and the ads are staggered. That's dedication. I don't, as I pay for YouTube ad free. Okay, cool. Nope, no ads. Huh, I wonder how they set it up. because some people had an ad too, and some people didn't. So that sorts of makes it even more intriguing. I am excited to swatch out the ultramarine colors because a watercolorist, our friend, was like, oh, their ultramarines are awful. I was like, oh, I'm intrigued. So far, this seems like decent. I wouldn't expect a bad performance from a pan that re-wets like this. My brain is a slow-moving vehicle today. You said this was the good kind of indigo. What makes a good indigo for you? It has to be, if you layer it really thickly in the mastone, it has to be really dark. And then when you dilute it, it has to be this sort of muted, mostly blue, but also a bit green kind of color. If it's too blue, for me, it's more like a Payne's gray. If it's too green, then it's not quite right either. And if it's too black, that's also not right. Hey, it lets you get as ad revenue, and I... Yep. I mean, thank you. I'm surprised YouTube doesn't interrupt live streams with ads. I mean, it kind of does, right? When people have no subscription or no, like, specific... what's the word? Like service with YouTube. If you pay for premium, you don't get ads, but if yeah, like can you imagine you pay for that and you still get ads? A bit like the thing that Netflix has set up. Is it Netflix or is it Prime? There's one of them that you can pay less but have ads in there. Which is ugh. Oh, that's ultra separated. Oh. Yeah, when you get an ad on YouTube, it just like you kind of lose a bit of the stream. Yep, it interrupts the video audio streams now. I think both. Dude. this endless cycle of enshittification. Things getting more and more and more terrible until it's too much and someone starts something new that then progressively gets more and more terrible until someone starts another new thing and then and so on and so forth. Until recently, I didn't realize that genuine indigo wasn't a defined color. Like, indigo dyed textiles can be pretty different shades of blue, so when we say indigo, what does each of us picture? Huh. I know you can also have sort of a greenish indigo kind of dye. But it's a bit better. That tube enjoyed a little massage. These are done. Like past Saturday, I got like 8. Oh, I really don't know how to deal with that in the sense that it sucks but at the same time, they don't necessarily leave us a lot of options. For me, yeah, indigo is basically the color I just described. So a really dark, deep, almost black color when it's really, really intense. And then as you dilute it, it gets more blue, but not a purplish blue, more of a slightly greenish blue. For longer ads, I think YouTubers only get ad revenue if the ad is allowed to play for at least 30 seconds. That's what I heard, but they tend to change this stuff without telling us. Because, pff. Okay, ultramarine dark. I mean, so far, I feel like these are fairly consistent for what I would call ultramarine blue light. So it kind of looks like it's the right hue for ultramarine, this slightly warm, slightly red, just a little bit red blue, but that the value at the mass tone is still kind of light. Usually think of a very muted but also dark kind of blue if you need a hex color. I want indigo to be like a super dark rinsed denim, slightly greenish blue black, like mix PB16 with black. I mean, technically, when like denim is dyed with indigo, if you go for the standard denim experience. I hate that advertising is now a mechanism for extortion. Ugh. I mean, it kind of has always been, in a way. What kind of bums me out about most of the stuff that, you know, has ceased changes is that it's often changed in a way to make it so that the people who don't really contribute anything get the most money out of it. Like the investors or the people who have the word for it, Axiom. Anyway, shares. There you go. That's the ultramarine blue dark. Seems to re-wet fine. Like if you look on my brush, you can see that it's picking up a lot of color. Starting to be able to see the different hues in the paints. Now I cringe every time I walk into my kitchen because I chose the colors. An artist friend did try to warn me though. Oh no, what colors did you pick? Really, it's not that bad. And then since this is also ultramarine in the tube, I'm gonna try to preemptively mix it up a bit. I've made my peace with the ads because it feels a little less personally slimy than product placement. Yeah, it really depends. There are some sponsors that I see and like bigger videos, podcasts, all that, like Zuck Duck or what's another one I saw? The mattress ones or the adult toys ones. Like, no. Like those, I understand why people do sponsorships with those companies because you need to pay the bills, but none of these ads will ever get me to buy anything they're selling. because it's just like, it doesn't feel like the endorsement is genuine. And it's always the same kind of things. You can tell when one company has an ad campaign going, because all the podcasts, all the big like YouTubers start having the same ads at the same time. Ah, no. It is coming out on its own. Stay inside the tube. Ah, what am I supposed to do with that? Okay. Stay in the tube. Okay. Ah. It's just... Okay. The mattress ones are okay, I guess. But it just... I don't know. I just don't know. It feels... like if I was watching a video of someone who talks about mattresses, perhaps. But if I'm like watching a video about the crimes and there's a mattress ad, I think my brain just switches off. Or I skip the ad. Like I manually try to find the moment it's over. Or one that was really common was those protein cereals. It basically looked like Fruit Loops, but all kinds of colors that are not like Fruit Loops. They reached out to me once and they were like, hey, would you like to do a video? And I was like, well, your cereals are like dairy protein based and I cannot eat dairy protein, so I don't feel like I would be a good a good collaborator. I mean, I don't think the cereals look all that great, to be honest, but that saved me the hustle of the hassle, sorry, of trying to say no. I'm eager to see how the tube one dries because it has really nice granulation for now. But I also feel like the light one here had more granulation before it dried, so we'll see. Guess. Purple-ish, mid-blue, tan-ish, and a rose color. It's just awful. Oh, I mean, surely there's some sort of reasoning behind the choice of the color. Like, sorry, you picked these because you like them, right? Like, if some mattress company wants to sponsor me, hooray, free mattress is best mattress. I mean, you'll have to ask your back about that in a few months, but yeah. The medical ones, yeah, the Better Health and ZocDoc, no. No, 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 no. I watch a few maker builder type creators that do really absurd ad reads. That's a bit better in my opinion, but still. Like all the VPNs. It's weird. It's just very weird. Hello! Where they're not faking loving the products. I know I'm about to talk about the narrative importance of plants in this story about how war changes lives. But first, let's hear about the sponsor of this video, random product that doesn't belong. Protein cereals, wee! I'm so full. What did you eat? Okay, next one is cobalt blue hue in the pan. I feel more of a makeup artist when I say it like that. Cobalt blue hue is always a color that kind of puzzles me as a hue because it's often just like ultramarine blue and something. Sometimes it's phthalo blue, in this case it's white. And I feel like as such, it just shouldn't be in the range. Like, either give me the real thing or just forget it. I don't really see it. This one is a slightly different hue than ultramarine blue dark, but it looks quite like the ultramarine blue light in terms of hue, so we'll see. I just got an ad about bear skin hoodies or something. It was very manly man. I think my ad algorithm currently thinks I'm a guy, or perhaps it picked up on our discussion about getting into a big comfy hoodie earlier. That's also possible. Okay, next is Ftele Bleu. Phthalo blue. Tube. Pan. From my understanding, cobalt is supposed to be a warm blue. The thing with cobalt is that it varies quite a lot for a blue. But like I was sorting out pigments, and Pt3 can either be a sort of aqua color or a blue like ultramarine, and it's the same pigment number. So in that aspect, I feel like it's kind of difficult to really pinpoint what it's supposed to be. For me, the main feature of cobalt blue really is it has to be a sort of a deeper blue that is generally more warm than cool. So not a cyan, not a teal color, and then it has to have granulation. But yeah, it's Holbein's cobalt blue hue is really nice. I tried it recently, and it's almost one of those fancy granulating separating colors, PB15 and PB29. Yeah, that's a good mix. You get something really fun out of it, and you don't necessarily have that extra white filler in there. Phthalo blue pan re-wets really well. Oh, that's nice. Good phthalo blue. I like that. It's definitely more of a green shade kind of phthalo blue, but it has a good strength and it's a lovely hue overall, I think. Yikes, that's scary. I've been getting the hoodie ads for a few days already though. It's probably the engineering videos I watch because, you know, women can be interested in STEM topics. Man, they always, like, that's what they push you to go for in school, and then they act all surprised when you actually show interest. Well, whatever color names are a social construct, and if I want turquoise can be considered... Oh yeah, it can be considered a blue, like it's... My ad algorithm throws makeup jewelry at me in between like diapers and manly men tactical gear. None of it is relevant. Oh man. Oh man, some social media are absolutely unusable on like a phone or a tablet. Instagram, Twitter. Not that Twitter is any good, bleh. But let's go back to a time where it didn't suck as much and was still named Twitter. It was so unusable because you would get so many ads, and yeah, from something that I talked recently with Mr. E, like they really push you to use the apps because you cannot with apps have a ad blocking add-on or something. You can in your browser, but if you use the app, it's not gonna be there. Oh, that's gonna be... Ah, it's exploding already. Oh, sorry. It just flew all over the place. Ha 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 ha. See what I did there? Sorry. Ha ha ha. Try to clean it up a bit. Oh, it's so stainy. The stainiest color to have ever stained. I wonder if that's sort of something similar they use for Noodler's Bay State Blue, which is one famously staining fountain pen ink. Okay. Tube is okay-ish. Towels. Yeah. It is so blue. Blue all over the place. See? See what I did there? I'm so funny. Ha 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 ha. That's blue. That's one of the main reasons I deleted my Facebook account, trying to get away from Meta altogether. But so many businesses use it as their sole... Yeah, especially whether it's Facebook or Instagram. Because it used to be... Okay, maybe not Facebook. I don't think Facebook was ever great. But Instagram used to be nice. Long time ago. Oh, seriously, why is that censored? YouTube, are you high? It tried to hide Halo's LUL. It's always the phthalo blue that makes a mess. Seriously, it's the phthalo colors. Then, in the line, is the quinacridone colors. The most egregious one is if you had a sort of transparent turquoise mix that is phthalo blue and phthalo green. You know you are effed with that one. It's the one that is gonna like explode all over the place and recolor your ceiling. I hope you like pale blue because now everything is gonna be pale blue. There's so many dust in my brush, and cat hairs is just... Ow! Where did they all come from? Let's all say low. The green mishap. Natural phthalo mine. Where's our where is our metal watercolor band? That algorithm can't decide what the hell I am. It puts me on weird places. I mean, that's good, right? You don't necessarily want them to know who you are. I don't feel like that's the good solution here. Oh, yeah. YouTube really hates me. YouTube tried to censor that. And Ev, did you remember? Yeah, sure. Yeah, fine. Dave, hey! Does anyone have experience with Schminke Aquafix medium? Aside demo this week where it was used to add texture to watercolor. I am not familiar with it at all. Weekly reminder that the chat defaults to top chats and not all chats. Why? 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 See what you did there, Copper? Dude, I didn't even realize. Hi, by the way, Agent XP. Next one is cerulean blue in the pan, and I'm always happy to swatch out that color. It's one of those colors that is common in quite a few, or a similar kind of color is a recurring one is in quite a few ranges. And I don't know why, but it always makes me happy, even if it's quite often like phthalo blue with white. So really nothing special or nothing extra. It's just such a nice, like, cheerful cyan kind of color that I'm always happy to see it. Just, it works for me. My favorite one is Senneliers, but this one is also quite decent. Like, are you a geek or a gym bro? You like art? Great, you'll enjoy AI art. Ugh. Nope. No thank you. Man, it kind of hurts the brain to even call it AI art, because it's is the art in the room with us, as the kids say. Okay, next one is transparent turquoise in the pan, and I'm very happy finally be getting to that one because I love it. Oh, why? Oh. Sorry, what blue is that again? That's cerulean hue, which they wrote Coeruleum. I have no idea how you're supposed to pronounce that, but I'm guessing it's sort of cerulean. Sort of. Sorry. Aquafix can be mixed with watercolor paint or applied over a watercolor wash. It makes the surface waterproof, similar to an acrylic, and will not move. It allows for successive washes of color. Oh, that's weird. Oh, that do not disturb one another. Colors remain clean and vibrant. Time for another phthalo explosion. Oh no, you're right. 1, 2, 3, up. Oh no, wait. I have to do the pan first. No. My water is so freaking blue. Might have to get up and change it quickly before I move on, because it's gonna influence the swatches. It is that blue. Hey, Sassy Britches, hello! That did not happen. No, no, no. Put the pan the wrong side out. Okay. YouTuber was adding the Aquafix into part dry paint. And that was creating texture apparently. So a hack rather than the intended use. Interesting. A very bunny Ev. Oh my gosh. Can do with that. Yeah, when you get to that point, it's a good cue to go get some fresh water. Hey, no explosion. Okay. So pretty. Isn't this like so satisfying? Okay, perhaps a bit more for me because I'm the one with the paintbrush, but ah, love it. Look, I think I forgot to pre-wet this spot. Jeez, I'm a mess today. No, the change is an account mix-up on my part. Oh no. Oh wow, I knew I was going to like that from the way it I mean, if you like bright colors, this is the brightest turquoise you'll get. That is also transparent. Look at my brush. It is like I might just switch to a different one for the other swatches. And I'll wash this one out later. But I will show you my paint water. And then I will quickly go get some fresh one. Remember to stretch, guys. Get up, stretch. Get some water. Don't drink the forbidden one. But look. It's so blue. I can't even see the bottom anymore. One more time. Be right back. Al better. PB16, yes. An absolute unit of a ball of water. I have a question. Been watching some color mixing videos and some are using a gray palette for seeing values more easily. Is that mainly an acrylic oil thing? Because all watercolor ones are white. Yeah, I feel like I've never really seen a watercolor palette come in something other than white. But then again, watercolor is super transparent. Oh yeah, okay. That water blue looks usable. It looks like you could definitely paint with it. Next sheet. Do my best not to put my elbow in the paint. Yeah, I think so, because yeah, it's transparent. You need the white beneath it to reflect the most light. I'm back. What did I miss? Is that on purpose or is that a typo? It's good. Both oil and acrylics are mostly non-transparent, I think, but I have no experience with them. Also hate them both. It always bothers me when people make adorable handmade watercolor palettes, not in white. I haven't seen many of those, though. I think the most colorful ones I've seen were, you know, that glaze that is just kind of semi-opaquely white. So some areas will be a bit more transparent. I don't think I've seen ceramic palettes in color. I've seen pans in colors, and for that I don't think it's really that much of an issue, but color therapy without the hefty price tag of buying the products. I love swatching vids, especially if the artists describe the details and feel. You could do the gray palette thing for gouache. Yep. Print it out in a sheet of smig gray and put it under clear acrylic. That's a very efficient way to work with this. I'll stop why are my fingers melting down. What's happening? That's also true. Lee says, but with watercolor it's transparent and you're painting on watercolor paper that is white. So white palette will give you the closest color match. Yeah. But I mean, if you think about it, a lot of the oil palettes out there are wood and some are glass. And so yeah, I think gray is a really nice sort of surface art palette, but it's not the only one. Back on those, did I miss the last green of the sheet? There was no greens on that sheet, only blues. Just the blues, just the blues. Because I don't have any of the greens here, but I have a few of the ones on this next page, so let's set this up. Yellow ochre. Sap green. Payne's green next. Hooker's green dark. But again, my whole stream is going to be flagged because I had to say that. Umber. Sepia hue is going to be the other one. What else? What else? Like brown. Also raw umber. So the next one. Light red. Brown. Black. Okay, and now pans. General thoughts on Aquafine. I've not seen you use them before. Yeah, I really like them so far. I think that my sort of general feel for them is that they are a really good student grade paint. That if I had had access to that as a very young painter, I think I would have perhaps came to a different conclusion about the medium, because all I had was a very lackluster Pentel and then Cutman. And both of these were quite underwhelming. Not that I know what I was doing with it, but they were not very forgiving if you were not already skilled with the medium. Where I feel that this range in general, so far, is a whole lot more forgiving in that the colors are so pretty. And I don't really feel like they're gonna hinder you. You have some colors that are really intense, the colors are vibrant, you have magentas in there, yellows, a range of blues, going to all the way to cyan, from cyan to blue, good purples like we saw. I'm gonna be seeing some of the greens here. It doesn't have a lot of greens, but with the blues and the yellows, you can definitely mix your own. And then the earth colors are also gonna be a something I'm interested to see, because those can be hit or miss really easily. This sheet looks lovely already. There's no color on it yet though. Yellow ochre here. By the way, Ev, did you ever try any of the Holbein Irodori gouache sets? I've tried them a little bit. I really like the gouache. Holbein gouache is so pretty. I haven't done gouache in a while, but I really like them, and I really sort of want to incorporate them more in my painting process. But gouache is sort of difficult because I don't like to put it in a palette and let it dry there and then paint from the dry gouache. It doesn't really like it, and me neither, to be honest. And I feel like it's not how it performs best, but also it's a bit less convenient to have to hold a bunch of tubes with you all the time, or to take them out and then pour paint, and you know. I just got home from the art shop, and when I pulled up, one of the squirrels went near my porch and jumped up in the tree, but then I started waving, and I think it's the one who comes all the time. Oh no, curious. Did it wave back? Oh, so I ran inside and grabbed the donut I've been saving for him and kept talking to him. He came onto my porch as soon as I called to him, but then kept stopping within a foot of my hand with the donut. He loves donuts, though. I don't know why, but so funny. Good info, thank you. So better than Cutman. In my opinion, yes. Last week we had a watercolorist in the chat. That's their username. And they were not a fan of the paints. So it really depends on what you like in your paint and all of that. But for me, I quite like these. I will definitely be using them. And yeah, they are kind of what you want in a student range paint, which is like affordability and like good paint behavior in general. And also, like, sorry, paper towel. I noticed it last week, but all the Aquafine from Delirani, they're made in the UK still, like Cutman used to be. The annoying thing though is that they don't say so on the tube. I think the tubes are all made in England. It's made in England on it. But for the pans, it's the most aggravating stuff that's written on them. It says like made in England and like assembled in the Dominican Republic. And that gave me pause last week because I was like, wait. You're telling me that they make the paint, ship it all the way to Dominican Republic to have it put into pans, and then they ship it back to England, and that's cost effective? How? Is my question. Wait, who's going to bed? Oh, I have a good night, Agent XP. And a good weekend. He didn't wave, but he stopped and stared at me from the tree and then jumped down to a closer spot and kept looking at me. I'm pretty sure he recognized me. They do the association with food really quickly. Rewetting gouache is it's so unpleasant. Not a fun experience. Do not recommend. Okay, so this one, is it the same color as tube? Yes. So it's 3 pigments. So we have pigment yellow 3, PG7, phthalo green, blue shade, and then PV19. And that's the PV19 is sort of the part of this color that made me curious about it. And I wanted to have a feel for it. I have squirrel stories for you. I put you up on the kitchen TV so I can watch while I wash up. Good luck, Paulo. Show those dishes who's boss. Like, the thing never gets the right consistency. You either use too much water, turning it into watercolor, or too little. Yeah, I mean, gouache, you are so better off just getting fresh one from the tube. And if you don't use it up, all of it, if you don't use all of it, I mean, you can reuse it. It is rewettable, but it is so underwhelming when compared to fresh one. That kind of looks like a, you know, when you have a PG36 phthalo green yellow shade. It's kind of the color we end up with here in this mix. I've read they can recognize people. I've been talking to him and leaving him food all year. He better recognize me. So I believe sour burns does magic. I mean, a lot of people do really good with gouache. Like a lot. But it's such a different kind of approach. And yeah, some gouaches will be wet better. The M. Graham gouache usually is quite fine because it is a bit like their watercolor. It has honey in it. So it tends to do a bit better. Yeah. Even yeah. Good question to put to Dillarani, and Jackson's might get an answer, as they will be. Huh. I'll try to remember to check that out. Because yeah, this sending the paints like halfway, half a world over just to get it into pans is. I made a face, by the way. You can tell, but. So sap green. I'm really liking this. This is nice. You can also mix white gouache with dry watercolor if you want something portable, but with opaque layering options. Yep. Yeah, earlier I was mentioning Nathan Fawkes, or perhaps on the Discord, but he uses a whole palette of watercolor and then white gouache. But I think one of the things that sort of makes his setup work so efficiently is that he will often get fresh watercolor from the tube and then also fresh gouache, white gouache. So that way he can have sort of a really thick opaque mix, which is more difficult to get from dry watercolor and fresh gouache, if that makes sense. I love him. He's really, really good. So, sap green. This one is a mix of PY73, so a warm yellow, I think, and then PB29, so ultramarine blue. And I'm really curious to see if this one gets a bit of granulation in it, because I think that would be really cool. A sap green that has a little bit of texture. I don't think I've ever seen two sap greens from different brands be a similar hue. They're always different. But I like this one. It's loaded up with way too much water. Show me your potential. Reveal it to me. Tried it before. I bought some colored gouache tubes to make sure I was really interested enough in the medium to invest. Yep. But also, so just be aware that once you add white into it to get. Well, the thing is, the salaries in the Dominican Republic are a bit low, so it's normal for companies to do business there. Yeah, but it's sort of a really narrow-sighted decision in the sense that, sure, the labor is cheaper there, but that's because we don't consider in all the pollution, all the like the moving of the product from one place to the next. Like if that factored in, if that was, you know, something that people had to pay for extra or have taxes or something, I'm pretty sure they would probably be less tempted to do that kind of thing. It's not the fact that it goes to another place to be packed, it's the fact that it goes far away, which means, you know, having these on a boat, the boat uses fuel, like it's just a whole mess, basically, for putting paint into plastic pans. Like, come on. Y'all are giving me good advice on gouache. PY73, that used much elsewhere. Yeah, it's it says the color has a decent opacity, so a decent light fastness. Sorry, words. I don't really know because I feel like, I mean, it's not like paint companies are always super duper honest with that stuff. I feel like a lot of them will tell you that their Aureolin is special and transparent, but also very light fast, and I don't feel like you can trust them for that. But yeah, I don't know if PY73 is supposed to be light fast or not. Seeing as how it's not very common, I'm tempted to think that it's not very light fast, but so it's a this is my dedicated gouache watercolor. That's nice. That's a really nice hue. I much preferred this one to Winsor & Newton's travesty of a sap green. I'm being over the top on purpose. I'm not defending that choice. I'm really against it, but this happens in a lot of industries, sadly. If a capitalist can save cents transporting stuff on, seriously, that's the part that gets to me, is that it's such a narrow-sighted focus on just making the most profit, but that only works because they sort of can't say that word on YouTube, but they're not being fair with the system, quote unquote, because in the ideal setting, I feel like this stuff, like having a product be transported over multiple countries, would be cost prohibitive in some way. So the fact that it hasn't been cost prohibitive, whether it comes to environment tax or, you know, whatever, is kind of the issue for me. Paint miles instead of food miles, it all has an impact. Yeah. Olive green. Very excited for this one too. This one, I think Schminke has a color that has the mix of the same pigment. Now, not sure if it's going to be anywhere close to it, but I feel like the mix of PG36 and then PO36, it rings a bell. I'm eager because I like mixes of greens and oranges together to make a more muted color. F? Did it F? Mine is not effing. That's very similar to their sap green. Wow. It's a lot less yellow when you dilute it, but as far as mass tone goes, interesting. Probably gonna shift a little bit as it dries, but I like it. I almost fell. I hope you're okay. And that's it for the greens. Now we are getting into the earth colors, starting with yellow ochre, ochre jaune. The word that is always weird because of jaune brillant. The color name that sends most people for a spin. The number of times I've seen it written as Juane. Juan. Like bro. No. It's like rogue. People who write rouge instead of rogue. Rogue. Okay, hold on, water break. Sorry about that. Ooh. Stretch. Super love the yellowy greens of this. I know, me too. The tube one is particularly vibrant, I feel. And I think there's a really faint texture in there, which is fun. Okay, yeah. How jaune. I usually pronounce it as Joanne. No! A-U together as a sound in French is like an O. So it's jaune. No, 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 no. Where do you get the... How do you get to Joanne from... Or do I say Joan? Like Joan Baez? What's her name? Joan... Yeah, perhaps. But it's with a... I don't know how to describe it, but the J, instead of being like John, you just go Jean. You know, you have a little bit less emphasis on it. Or if I feel a little French, Jaune. That's jaune. No, if you say jaune, that's more Quebec than France. So yeah, like Joan, like Joan, but less less sort of like, you know, when you say Joan like that, it sounds a bit like you have a D first, like Joan. There is a an extra emphasis on it, but in French you kind of remove that sound, so it's just like jaune. And then brillant, jaune, brillant. I've been watching a TV series that has an actor, a natively English speaking actor, speak a lot of French, and it's been very trippy at times. Sometimes it's really decent. Sometimes it takes me a couple of listenings, and I'm like, oh, because the thing that, like, his pronunciation is fair, but it's the way the emphasis is put on some sounds and not the other ones that makes it harder for me to decipher properly. Lucas Olive Green is also, interesting. I wonder if it's similar in hue. Oh man, there's so many cat hairs in my in my swatches. Pretty bad at mispronouncing things in French. I mean, it's practice and being willing to get it wrong a bunch of times. First time I spoke English, it was dreadful. The first time I saw the word think, I was like, think? No, it's a what now? I'm supposed to say think? It's sort of a mix between a F and a T. Okay. That's pretty. It's a bit light in terms of value. Like, it's a very light yellow ochre, but it's a beautiful hue for it. Like, it's quite yellow and it's not too muted. Like it. Really like it, actually. Which is weird because Spanish speaking people find it easy to talk in French. I mean, from French, it is really easy to learn Spanish. Now, I don't know if it goes the other way around, but from French, learning Spanish is really, like, not that hard. The hardest part for me of learning Spanish back then is just the speed factor of it. When did you become... Oh, I don't know, but we started having English classes. Like, mind you, I went to school ages ago. Okay, so I was in 4th grade when they started giving us English classes, and then it's high school was more focused too. I like using split primary palettes. If you were to add a convenience screen but could only choose one, would you pick sap green or hooker's green? I know it's personal preference, but just curious. Do you mean within this range here or in general? Because that's the thing. With both of these colors, they vary a lot depending on the paint maker. I have lost the language of my people in favor of English, but I have retained an embarrassingly strong ability to still pronounce Spanish words with the Islander accent. I think I do French pronunciation pretty well too. I wonder if not being a native English speaker, regardless of what you speak, or just being bilingual regardless of what's the second language, just being very cognizant of how two languages work, if just that aspect of it makes people find it easier to pronounce things in a third different language. That makes sense? It's like if you have this knowledge in your head that sounds will be different depending on the language, I feel like it makes it a bit easier to wrap your brain around learning something new. That's not ochre at all. What do you mean? The first time I practiced... Hey, hippopotamus Bosch, hello! First time I practiced my French was to a pair of Parisians. Ooh! If your Spanish instructor is either Chilean, Dominican, or Argentinian, you're gonna have it wrong. I don't remember. I think... I'm pretty sure one of the teachers I had in high school for Spanish was from a South American country. The other guy, I'm not sure. his name was not very it's exploding. Binder everywhere. I'm gonna need paper towels again. Sorry. My husband has a mental block, especially when reading in French, other languages, where he'll really struggle with sounds because he'll pronounce how he reads that letter. Like how you read it from a French brain or English brain. It's very difficult to switch. Like when I do a video and I have to like talk about like Sennelier or something, sometimes there's a pause like that. I cut it off because I can when I edit, but you can almost tell, you can almost hear the gear change in my head, being like, okay, French, okay, back to English. Welcome back, Paulo. Good point. I wonder what else affects that. Spanish was my first language I remember speaking, but lost it at 5 years old. Couldn't pass it at all in 4 years. Aww. Oh, versus if you speak a couple languages, you just accept that the letter doesn't always map the same. Yeah. That's fair. Like, I feel like the sounds of the Japanese language are also much easier to grasp from a French perspective because the vowels are all basically the same sounds as in French. My husband is Anglophone only the minimum. Anglophone Canadian French, so like he can read basic sentences but doesn't speak at all. But we're your neighbors. We're just there. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Quebec is such a weird kind of situation. Oh god, it's sad when it happens, but hey, if you know some words, it's still valid. I pre-wit it, okay. I don't remember much of like the Spanish classes I had in high school, but um, it's instead of being completely forgotten, it's like if part of it is just hidden. And sometimes when I see stuff that's in Spanish, there's stuff that I can still understand because deep down in the recesses of my brain, like the data is still there. But there are other things that I've completely forgotten. There are some sentences that I will never forget because the way we had to learn these, it was like the very precursor of memes, but like I can still ask where's the bathroom and how do you say sandwich in Espanol in Spanish. But yeah, for everything else, it's more of an unknown. Like I don't know what's gonna happen. And he'll try to read out loud, for example, and just read words using the English pronunciation of letters. So it sounds awful. It's gotta be funny though. I'm sorry, but it's gotta be so funny. I live in a city where Spanish speakers outnumber English, and I still have not been able to pick it up. Oop. Ah, that's okay. ¿Dónde está el cuarto de baño? ¿Cómo se dice sándwich en español? Se dice bocadillo. ¿Cómo? Bocadillo. Yeah, I agree. I think I would be giggling a lot. Yeah, but also cringy. Listen. I've had to go on vacation to Maine, USA, Maine, as an adult with my mom and her husband one time. And yeah, I get it. Like my mom's English was something else. So I get the cringy aspect. But I mean, she was trying, so like you could see it was kind of a, a cute situation of all because you could see that the American people she was trying to talk to, they were trying so hard to understand. But it was a bit of a mess, so I would just stick around and help with, translating stuff. And sometimes when it would be too much of a struggle, I would be like, Mom, what are you trying to say? And she would say it to me in French, and then I would be able to translate it in English. Bocadillo is usually a Spain thing, and the rest of Latam, it's usually sandwich. Although some people say it sandwich. That's how we see it in Quebec, sandwich. But yeah, it's just the joke of it is that we learned a lot of our Spanish through a sort of a weird TV show that's called Destinos. So the teacher would just put on Destinos, and we would try to pick up on it. And they had a whole skit about saying sandwich in Spanish. But my accent is so good. I got made fun of so hard during Spanish class in my all white. Aw, dude, what the heck? If you live in Miami, just speak English with a Cuban accent and you'll be fine. Lucas are manufactured by Dilarani. Oh, really? Oh. Interesting. They also have the PO71 and the transparent turquoise, like the PB16, they have these in the Lucas range too. Any. That's how I learned to dance, watching MTV Grind. So yeah, I don't know if Destinos was more of a Spain thing or not, but that's how we learn. I think, if I remember right, it's been a really, really, really long time. So, but yeah, I remember the first teacher we had for Spanish was really funny in a way. I don't think nowadays he would do all that well, but it was a different time, and his name was Serge, and it's a very like it's a very culturally local kind of name, and he would throw stuff at students that were not paying attention, like chalks, and then a stapler. And one time, someone was reading their book when it was not the time to do that, so he grabbed the book and threw it out the window of the second story classroom. You know, different time, different time. Oh, I'm liking this raw sienna so far. It's not splotchy. I was watching a linguistic creator who was comparing languages. Okay, Portuguese, just Spanish, but you're French. Well, your school sounds like mine. We probably went to school at a somewhat similar time period. But yeah, that teacher was something else. Serge. It was a different time. Yep. That that wouldn't fly today. Not saying that it was a good or anything, but uh, you kind of definitely pay attention after that. Really. Oh no. I understand the pain, but in a different sense because I speak without the accent of my own country, so people think I'm from a different country. Oh no. Yep, although your Serge sounds more like my English teacher. Oh, we had all sorts. There's stuff that would be hard for me to tell because of the uh, language barrier. But yeah, we had a pretty funky history teacher. Uh, I don't know how it is today, but I think it varies still. But way back then, you still had the dual classes of religion, and in French we called it morale, which is morals. Yeah. So if you were not a religious, or if you were of a different religion, you would end up in the morals kind of class, which is sounds weird, but I mean, eh. And I remember having a teacher in that class, and you know how teenagers are a bit unruly, and he tried to command attention by slamming a desk on the floor, and it was so underwhelming that the best we could do was try not to laugh. Like, dude, like the teacher was, it looked like he would be 100 pounds wet. So it's just like, oh wait. The teacher of the morals class is trying to get our attention. My Spanish teacher was a hippie named Veronique, who were very oof. Okay. I don't remember a lot of teacher names, but Serge was must have been something because I for sure remember him. Assistant principal at my high school hit the trunk boot of my car with a flashlight one morning because I wouldn't get out of the car. Ugh, why? Oh my gosh. Live and let live. What the heck? Okay, so this one is light red. It is a PR 101 pigment, and it looks like it's going to be a very opaque one. Now, I would say that I really like it, but I know that this pigment has generally a really substantial drying shift, so I'm gonna reserve judgment for when it's fully dry, but wet, it is beautiful. I feel like that's a really nice, solid color that you can use. It's a bit muted, it's a bit opaque, but it's not to a point where it's no longer versatile for stuff. This was in the 70s. Still, I'm waiting for the day I find a transparent light red. I say in this moment, knowing I'll forget in 5 minutes. There's quite a few. Like, I feel like the burnt sienna from Winsor & Newton is kind of perhaps the vibe you're looking for. It's a very red, fairly transparent kind of PR 101 color. If I remember right. Maybe I don't. As much as I love some colors by Winsor & Newton, there are other colors that I really don't like. Yeah, but I feel like it was still illegal to damage someone's cars. Probably fair. Oh, man. It's a very sort of terracotta kind of color, this one. Very nice. I'm really loving it. I hope it doesn't become like super muted when it dries, because that's very pretty so far. Someone is blowing up my phone, which I'm filming with. Who is blowing up my... Can't see anymore. It was tags this. Not cool. The moment I find a transparent non-toxic yellow that is not discontinued... I mean, there is one transparent yellow. Azo yellow. Is it toxic? It's not supposed to be. But that's about the only truly transparent yellow out there. TY 150. Not discontinued as far as I know. And they better not discontinue it. Do I not have burnt sienna? Oh, I don't have burnt sienna, really? What? No way. Okay, now I have the pan. Okay, okay. Pan. 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 And then tube. Okay, okay. So it is also a PR 101 pigment, which is not my go-to, but I'm gonna wait and see what it's like on the paper, and then I'll have an opinion on it. It's gonna be a bit of a blemish, but there was a big chunk of something in the paint. I forgot to pre-wet it. No, it is pre-wet. Oh, that's so red. How is this burnt sienna? It's orange. It's like quinacridone burnt orange. What is this color? Wow, that's not burnt sienna. Good grief. It's so orange. Oh my gosh. What? AY150 is a nickel compound, so it gets a California cancer warning, but it is actually quite inert as a pigment. According to Under the Brush, like Indian Red by Daniel Smith and Mugello. Can't see how transparent either one are. No, it's got some. Yeah, that's not burnt sienna in any way, shape, or form. Are they? No, I mean, their burnt umber is a mix, but I feel like this color is gonna be perhaps a bit closer. Oh well. Oh well. Naples yellow. So interestingly, their Naples yellow doesn't have any white pigment in it. It is a mix of a red pigment, PR176, and then the usual pigment for Naples yellow, which is PBR24. Orange is good, just saying. What a surprise! What a surprise! Paulo likes the orange. Not burnt sienna, and her best friend not free. Did you tell me why you were not a fan of the yellow ochre? Because I missed it if you did. Nowhere near yellow ochre. I mean, that's the thing though, there's such a range to yellow ochre too, so... Oh, that's lovely. I like it. I don't think it is necessarily a good Naples yellow kind of color, but it is a pretty color. The light red did shift, but I like it. I like the slightly rosy color. It is shifting. The light red is shifting a little bit. It's losing a bit of its vibrancy, but it is still quite a nice color, I feel. It didn't become all like flat and muted. It's a very difficult paint to work with because you see it wet and you have to make a swatch, then let it dry to know what it's going to be like when it's dry, because it's never going to look exactly like it does when it's wet. Some version of this pigment, they start off really red, and then when they dry, they become this like muted purple red color, which is kind of weird, you know. Sassy, this is how it begins. The earth tones are sucking you in. I think it's because I'm getting older. A few years back, I noticed I started to like the primitive kitchen aesthetic too, and certain winter aesthetics. It doesn't look like a yellow ochre. It's a neat color, I like it, but it feels like false advertisement. I'm very curious about it. I'm gonna paint this burnt umber, and I think I'm gonna grab my my charts of the Cursed Paint brand, because they do one thing right, and it's to have like a bajillion colors. So I feel like we're gonna be able to compare to a good range of quote-unquote yellow ochres, just to get a feel for how far off this one is. Richard, what's happening to me? No idea. Unless you are eating paint, I don't get the toxicity warnings, but California is weird and filled with weird people. I mean, define weird nowadays, but I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Weird doesn't mean the thing it used to. I feel like nowadays the kind of quote-unquote weird you would associate with the general people of California is a compliment. Because we see so much more like unfathomable behaviors of all kinds that are sort of, you know, more disruptive, more negative. I feel like it's pretty tame levels of weird. I've gotten in trouble for doing the math elsewhere about how much you have to ingest to cause any damage, so don't. I mean, it's kind of a given, right? Don't eat the paint. But yeah, don't eat the paint. Use common sense, and if you are absolutely unsure, ask your painter friends, and it's gonna be fine. The whole reason I want to visit Portland and San Fran is to meet my fellow weirdos. A weird Californian here, and you're not wrong. I'm not going to get into my rant about how governing in this state is. Yeah, it's. I mean, okay, state is one thing. I would put forth the consideration that you could now say that the governing in the whole country is irretrievably broken, but that's a huge discussion topic, so. Yeah, don't eat deodorant is a given too unless... Did you try to eat deodorant? Why? All good, all good. Don't mind the noise. I was kind of listening with my eyes closed, dozing like your grandpa. And I'm feeling a bit better. Oh, I'm glad. That's good. It was an accident. I thought it was a big white... Oh, okay. Fair. In this case, you are so better off with white chocolate than, you know, any kind of brown chocolate. If you have pets and there's a crumb of brown chocolates on the floor, I very highly suggest to leave it there. Or, I mean, not leave it there, but don't eat it. Okay? Not worth it. It's not worth it. But it did not fall off my plate, it fell out of my sleeve. Okay, hold on. So, I mean, guys, check this out, okay? I'm kind of struggling for space, but if you compare the accursed brand's yellow ochre with the yellow ochre from Aquafine. I mean, this one is a bit more yellow, but we are not that far off, are we? Like, seriously. Yeah, it was terrible. No, I don't think it is. Then you have burgundy yellow ochre, which is lighter and more yellow. The Verona gold ochre is even weaker yellow. And then the Monte Amiata natural sienna. It's a sienna color, but it's a PBR7, so not exactly the same kind of deal we have here, but it is kind of similar, isn't it? Or is it just me? Wildflower, hello! Okay, that's it for that. This page is done. Now, it is usually my cutoff time for the stream. Still have one page. Go. Not sure what I should do. I'm gonna just put the colors on the sheet just to give me an idea of what's what. It's the opacity that's making the visible. Really? It's usually quite opaque, isn't it? It varies. It's one of those varying ones. I don't know. We didn't learn that all smells are as pleasant as it tastes. Giving the. I didn't see it either. I can try to go through this page a bit quickly, or we can keep it for next week. Should I make it a poll? A poll. Yep, that's a 1/4 inch masking tape, I think. Yeah, it's a 1/4 inch painter's tape. There we go. Okay, poll. Oh, bye, Auntie. It is getting dark. Sorry. Oh yeah, lavender. For me, it's rose. I really like orange blossom water, but rose water is weird in food, in my opinion. Hey, if it smells pretty, I bet the taste will be amazing. Let me take a sip of coconut. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my gosh, Lee. I like the taste of lavender, but I have a mild skin respiratory reaction to it, so I probably shouldn't eat it. Probably. That might be a better idea. Vote in the poll, guys. So far, it's next week. I'm Indian, so I grew up with rose-flavored things. I like them, but I understand it's a polarizing flavor. I think it's also an aspect of it is that not everyone knows how to dose it well, and sometimes people like they get on a bit of a trend, and it's just not a proper balance. I feel like if it's a flavor that is culturally relevant to you, um, it's probably been figured out a long time ago how much to how much to put in something to get, you know, the good effect. Whereas I feel like sometimes people just go like, "Oh, this is trendy," have a buttload of it, and you're like, ugh. Next week for sure. Okay, that's perfect. Well, next week, the last um, sheet, and then I don't know. Perhaps we could paint something with these, I guess, or something. But yeah. So I will sort this all out. And yeah, I will also have a drink, lozenges, all of the lozenges. I make a killer biscotti recipe with pistachios, orange blossom water, and cardamom. It is, I think so far, it's one of my flavor combos that has gotten the best reception. Yeah, you want a hint and not a dowsing. That's it. But sometimes people can't really balance the hint well. Which is something that, you know, when I go on thought experiments in my head about being a chef, or, you know, not necessarily a chef in a restaurant, but just, let's say, oh, you have your own cookie business, whatever. And that's something that always makes me kind of go, I know how to, you know, those things for myself and the people I know, but for the rest of the world, I have no idea. And it kind of just breaks my brain to try to figure it out. Because I'm partial to some flavors, like cinnamon. In my oatmeal, every morning I dump a pile of cinnamon. I wouldn't put as much if I were making something for a wider audience, but you know, it's just this balancing act. It's difficult. Oh my god, that sounds amazing. Please. I'll see if I have it. As with most of my recipes, it's a bit of a mess, and it's possibly in French. But yeah, like my recipes, they get all sorts of notes on them and things that only make sense to me, or like edits in the amounts of stuff. So, but I'll see. I'll see. Sometimes nasty is delicious. You can find examples of that in cheese and natto. Natto. Fermented stuff in general. Do you toss your cardamom? No, what, do you take me for a foodie? I buy a ground cardamom. It's still good. Still tastes awesome. I love cardamom. I took out school French, I'll be fine. I can cook. I learned how to do it, but I don't necessarily like it. So it's a really difficult balancing act between, is something worth the investment in time to get the result or not? If it is, I'll probably put the time in. If it's not, oh my gosh, you can bet I will find every possible way to cut corners. Cardamom is amazing. We need more stuff with cardamom on it, or in it. I hate getting a mouthful of a seed they didn't bother taking out of your biryani. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's a difference. Like that's something else. It's a bit like eating something and then you realize you're chewing on the whole clove of garlic. It's like we could have cut it up so it fits better with the rest of the meal. No? Yes, no, yeah. Oh, anyway. All right, guys. I hope you have a good rest of the weekend. I'm working on getting a video out for tomorrow, hopefully. But if not, ASAP. And then members only live stream on Thursday, and then public live stream next Saturday. If everything goes well, it's gonna be part of it's gonna be the rest of the Aquafine, and then I'll try to think of something else. If you have any ideas, you can leave them on the Discord. We have a live stream after party channel over there. And yep. Made a deal with my boyfriend that if he cooks food, I will be on permanent dish duty. He doesn't cook often or much, but comes out better than mine. Oh man. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Have a great weekend and take cake. Haha. Oh, I forgot. Bye bye.